This module will explore and inform on legal requirements, understanding fire, fire hazards and risks, fire prevention and control, fire extinguisher safety, and fire procedures. Regulatory reform, the Fire Safety Order of 2005, requires that for organizations fire risks are identified and controlled. A fire risk assessment is completed and reviewed regularly or if work areas change. Findings of any assessments are implemented so far as is reasonably practicable. Defining risks and hazards. A hazard is something with the potential to cause harm or loss, so it could be an object, a person, or a situation. A risk is the likelihood that a hazard will actually cause that harm or loss. So, for instance, there is a risk, likelihood, of an unattended chip pan, the hazard, catching fire. Fire is a very real potential hazard, which poses a risk to both life and property. In 2016, there were 303 fire-related deaths in England. Again in 2016, there were 85 fire-related deaths in Wales. Fire needs three things to exist. It needs fuel, oxygen, and heat. This is commonly known as the fire triangle. When these three components come together, it results in a fire taking place. Watch the video below before continuing.
We all know what fire is. Fire happens when a substance burns and gives off light, heat and smoke. But what ingredients are needed to start a fire and keep it going?
Fire needs three essential ingredients to start.
The first ingredient is present all around us in the air: oxygen. The second ingredient is fuel, which can be any number of things: gases like the natural gas used for cooking, liquids like alcohol or petrol, and also solid materials like coal, wood, paper and other general waste. Thirdly, for a fire to start, you need heat, which comes from an ignition source. An ignition source might be a naked flame from a match or candle, but alternatively could be from a hot surface, electrical equipment, or static electricity. Heat also keeps a fire going and helps it to spread.
These three ingredients make up the fire triangle. Try to keep these three from coming together and you will reduce the risk of fire.
Firefighting equipment works by removing one or more of the three ingredients in the fire triangle, by cooling down, by smothering, or by removing the fuel source. Fires often grow very rapidly. They spread from one fuel source to another, making the fire hotter. To make matters worse, combustible materials also give off flammable gases in the increasing heat of a fire, and these gases can self-ignite.
Fuel. Fuel can constitute anything from the following groups: chemicals, acetone, ether, methanol, etc. Gases, such as hydrogen or natural gas. Plastics, PCs, cable insulation, research equipment, paper and cardboard, packaging for instance, wood, desks, benches, fabrics, chairs, blinds, clothing, or you. Oxygen. Oxygen is a natural component of air at approximately 21%. Enriched atmospheres where you'll find above 21% oxygen include places like labs or oxygen storage areas. Situations where oxygen or air are more difficult to control would be the outdoors, places where there are automatic ventilation systems, Open doors or windows. Heat is the ignition source. Such sources include heating appliances, research and computer equipment, other electrical equipment, smoking materials, contractors' equipment, or arson, where fires are deliberately set. Adverse outcomes from the effects of fire are caused by the following: smoke and fumes, which can result in breathing difficulties, asphyxiation and poisoning; heat and flames rising up to 1250 degrees centigrade, and these can cause severe to fatal burns. Building debris can cause impact injuries or indeed burns. Injury can be sustained while escaping fire as a result of trips, falls and trampling. The first steps toward fire prevention are to be fire safety aware, to control the ignition sources, to prevent any accumulation of fuels, to only use electrical equipment that is PAT tested, and to abide by the Hospice no smoking policy. Do not block fire exits, call points or extinguishers. Do not wedge fire doors open. Ensure good housekeeping. Maintain effective security. Report any bad practice identified or any risks immediately to your line manager. Fire alarm testing is a legal requirement in order to ensure that the alarm system is both operational and effective. The alarm will sound for 15 seconds during a test. There is no need to take action during a test. However, if the alarm sounds for greater than 15 seconds or at any time other than those arranged, you must treat this as a genuine alarm and immediately evacuate the building or area. If you discover a fire, shout, "Fire!" Raise the alarm by breaking the glass on a red fire alarm call point. Do not return to your desk or work area to collect personal belongings. Leave the building by the nearest available fire escape route. Go to the assembly area and await further instruction. On hearing the alarm, leave the building by the nearest available fire escape route. Do not delay your escape, but if you can turn off equipment or close doors and windows as you leave, then do so. Go to the assembly area and await instruction. Do not delay to collect belongings. Do not use lifts. If smoke is present, then keep low to the floor to aid your escape. If necessary, check that internal doors are cool with the back of your hand before opening them. On exiting the building, report to the designated assembly point promptly. Don't block any emergency services route to the building. On exiting the building, report any missing colleagues to your fire warden. Report any disabled persons left at refuge points. Remain at the assembly point until advised otherwise. Do not wander off, as it may be assumed that you are trapped in the building. There are 4 general types of fire extinguisher. Water extinguishers, which are used for paper, wood fires, etc. They are not to be used for fires caused by electrical faults, liquids or gases. Foam extinguishers. These can be used on solids and liquids. They should not be used on electrical fires or where gases have caused fires. Powder extinguishers can be used on solid caused fires, liquid caused fires, gases and electrical. And CO2 extinguishers. These can be used for electrical fires and they are safe on most small fires. Please watch the video below.
Here's a quick explanation of the 5 most common types of fire extinguisher and their uses. Water and water with additive fire extinguishers are all colour-coded red on the extinguisher description panel. Basic instructions on how to operate them are printed on the canister. You should only use them on flammable solids like wood, paper, textiles and furnishings. It can be very dangerous to use them on other types of fire. Carbon dioxide or CO2 fire extinguishers are colour-coded black on the extinguisher description panel, and operating instructions can be found on the canister. Although carbon dioxide extinguishers are primarily for use on flammable liquid fires like petrol, oils and petroleum-based spirits, we also recommend them for fires in electrical and electronic equipment, as the CO2 gas won't damage your computer or gadgetry. As the gas discharge is extremely cold, avoid handling the special discharge horn when using. Foam fire extinguishers are colour-coded cream on the identification panel, and again carry basic operating instructions. Larger sizes normally have an extension hose and low pressure nozzle. They are intended for use on flammable liquids like petrol, oils and solvents. As they are water-based, they also extinguish flammable solids like wood, paper and textiles. Dry powder fire extinguishers are colour-coded blue and are available in a wide choice of sizes and are very versatile. You can use them on fires involving flammable solids, flammable liquids and also flammable gases such as propane and butane. They also work on fires caused by electrical equipment, but unlike CO2, the powder congeals under heat so can leave a sticky residue. Last but not least, wet chemical fire extinguishers are colour-coded yellow on the identification panel. They contain a special chemical formulation that reacts with cooking fat and cooking oil fires to extinguish the fire, so are a must for the commercial kitchen. You can now buy special foam formulations that are effective on cooking fat fires in smaller canisters for home use. Our 600ml aerosol ABF extinguisher is also effective on solid combustibles and flammable liquids, so is a useful safeguard to have around the home. And remember, when it comes to your safety, come to fireandsafetycentre.co.uk.
The sort of defects or problems to report include covered smoke detectors, fire doors being damaged or not closing properly, broken or damaged lighting, especially emergency lighting, missing or damaged fire extinguishers, service riser covers being open, accumulations of rubbish and clutter, excessive paper in offices, etc., unobstructed corridors. On returning to your workplace today, ensure that you know the escape routes, final exit doors and how to open them, the location and types of firefighting equipment, the locations of call points, any specific fire procedures including the assembly points, who your fire wardens are and who to report to with any defects or bad practices identified. Thank you for your time and attention.